Hey, welcome back. We decided the other day to film a garden tour for you guys. It's our first one. Spring tour on the new property. We've only been here about a year. It's our first spring here. And as we came out to our potato patch, which is one of our staple crops, we discovered we had a problem. There were potato beetles everywhere. So we got the kids and some buckets and we started picking beetles. And we've been picking beetles for 3 days now?
Yep.
So we're trying not to use pesticides and such. So last year we had an invasion of the Japanese beetles on our other property. And we tried all kinds of non-toxic things, soap sprays, but bacterial BT, I don't remember what it's called. It'll probably appear at the bottom of your screen right now after I do research. But we came out here, picked them, sprayed them, diatomaceous earth, sprayed them with soap and water. And now we're deep mulching because something happened that surprised me. This is our potato patch. We planted them in the traditional way, in rows, about a foot apart, nice, neat, and even. And as you can see, we have some good returns, some good sized plants. Some rows didn't do so well, but for the most part, since it's the first time we've ever planted potatoes in this soil, we were very pleased. There's a nice one. Let me show you this. These are our Ruth Stout method potatoes. Now, interestingly, not as many proportionally came up as did in the straight soil, direct sow dirt. But they look much better. They're bigger. And we have not had the same potato beetle problem. We've found some here and there, but for the most part, these guys are thriving. I mean, look at this monster. They're huge. So you can see there's a little beetle in there. Get out. My potato. But just normal amounts of eatery on the leaves. Not like what they've done to these guys in here. So we're gonna finish our mulch. We're putting some straw around it. And we will show you the rest of the garden. So what school subject is this?
Ask Mom.
Agriculture.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of homeschooling is you can do your school and garden at the same time.
I'm done with school.
Done with school?
Yeah. As always.
Well, as always. Farming won't wait. The beetles need to be picked off. Stuff needs to be mulched. Stuff has to get done when you can get it done. We have rain scheduled for the next 4 days, so this is it. All right, now we'll do the tour. So this, what accent is that? So this area here is where we are planting.
We're Persian.
Oh yes. This is our bulk crop area. So the far side all the way down there is the potatoes. You guys have seen that in earnest. The area back there behind our natural hedge is the kitchen garden. So what other bulk crops besides potatoes do we have in here?
So we still have to build our teepees for these to climb up. We've hired our children to do so. These are Christmas lima beans. Some of them still haven't come up yet. In a few circles. This whole area is for dry beans. We have red bean, and then some blacks down there. Pretty much everything this way are black beans. A mix of red and black beans.
It looks a bit like a wasteland in here, but you can see where stuff is starting to come up.
And we're not pulling weeds and throwing them out. We chop them where they are and leave them.
Chop and drop.
So it doesn't look as tidy, but eventually it'll help the soil. In here we're growing a bunch of sunflowers, some African daisies. Got some little ones over here. A violet zinnia, and then we have some honey nut squash here and here. This is the second patch of corn. We planted corn in succession. That's why this one's a little bit shorter. It's a sweet corn. And after our rains come through this week, I'm going to go down each line and plant a couple of rows of bush beans.
Which I believe we've already done in the first area.
The daisies grow wild here, so some patches just get left for butterflies. First set of sweet corn, and you can see that about when I think this came up 2 weeks to 2 weeks of growth that I planted the beans. So this is about a month of growth, and the beans are about 2 weeks of growth.
You can see all the way down the line.
Half runner bush bean.
Half runner bush bean.
Crop zone. I have a zone for flowers, and some of them are growing wild. Like, you call these weeds, but butterflies love them and can't tell the difference. So we have some wildflowers that are growing in here, as well as some sunflowers. I have lots of sunflowers, and sweet potato here and here that'll be used as the ground cover. There's 4, and then I just planted a few more over on that side that were ready.
We have been picking these bugs off of for 3 days now.
They're looking better, I think.
They are looking better.
It's a few.
But it has been constant warfare. And I tell you, this is not a Pinterest garden, okay? We're not doing this to try and have certain looks or anything else. We spent probably 6 hours in here this morning, just this morning, cleaning bugs off of plants and then mulching with straw. The mulch seems to help keep the beetles down for some reason. So that's why this side looks as kind of neat and tidy and organized as it does.
It's a work in progress. As those plants get larger, it'll be easier to keep them looking tidy underneath. But it's work in progress.
So now we're going to take you over to, well, actually we have raised beds to do, don't we? Let's see some raised beds.
Okay.
Part of our orchard. What's this one?
This is a kefir pear.
Kefir pear.
Yeah.
And then the...
So we actually missed, I've been pulling off fruit, and today I realized that I missed some. There's 2 little pears on there.
And the tree in the background?
That is a sour cherry.
Sour cherry.
The other sour cherry died, so we'll have to replace that.
Sad.
There's apple, red delicious.
The small tree is a red delicious. The large tree is a, what'd you say, Granny Smith mix.
Yeah,
they're not sure what it is.
True Granny Smith. It's an old baking apple.
Old variety. Yeah. Same with that tree right there.
Yeah. There's a couple of small pineapple guavas that had some winter damage, but they look like they're growing new leaves, actually. And another kefir pear. Then in these window frames, we filled with soil.
Also free?
Also free, with soil from our forest area, and then some random potting mix that I had. These are Seminal Pumpkins. I know you're not supposed to plant 2 varieties together, but I wanted a lot of pumpkins. So I've got the Seminal Pumpkins over here, and then this is a French variety on this side.
And the idea is we're going to let these spill out and go wherever they want through the orchard, eventual orchard area. So this is all their pumpkin space, if they so deem it worthy to grow over. What? You go to the oats?
Yeah. Yeah.
Children of the oats.
We will make them disappear. Just give us a second.
Bah!
I exist.
These are Jubilee watermelons. These are the oats that the chickens, we ran chickens through tractors and it all came back.
Yeah, I mean they were here just a couple months ago.
Ate it to the ground.
Ate it all the way down to nothing and it shot right back up. And these are the same oats that are out in the field that have been there since spring of last year.
Fall.
Fall. I'm sorry. So I meant to say September. September of last year. That the cows are now enjoying. Those two little brown spots are cows.
More watermelon. I love watermelon.
Now, what is this seemingly unkempt area by your garden?
Accident on purpose. It's my favorite. So we've created, well, we haven't created, nature created a natural hedge between our open area and our cultivated garden where we don't want rabbits, we don't want deer, but we do want pollinators. So in here we've got a whole ton of millet, and that was cultivated from before, previous farmer, and it's all just coming back. And then we've got goldenrod, sweet peas, I think there's more daisies. Kira and I planted sunflowers that'll hopefully pop up in here too. So we're just letting nature have it, and it'll encourage our bumblebee population, our honeybee population. We do eventually want to get some bees for honey, so
yep.
We need a place that has flowers, dependable flowers. More watermelon in this box over here.
Now last year, when we planted in the fall, we did not, there was a fence back there, but it was broken down for the most part, so there were holes everywhere. We actually found rabbit holes inside the garden area. So when we repaired the fence, we left some areas as natural barriers, and so far, our plants have made it past the 6-inch stage. We had a video actually last year of this area over here where we had planted all types of store-bought beans, and just to see what would grow. We knew it was kind of late in the season, and they shot up and then everything got eaten. So they've been staying actually out in the field where the oats are and such. So it seems that our mix of man-made fences and natural things for them to eat is working.
All right, back over here again, we've got some cantaloupes growing in our window boxes. That's here.
Breakfast boxes.
Breakfast boxes. Cantaloupes and scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
More cantaloupes in here, and I also had planted, I just noticed it. I planted some flower seeds in the corners of a lot of these beds to try to add some more enticement for our pollinators. So there'll be some zinnias and different things popping up in those as well.
Now this is what we like to call our kitchen garden. Tea garden, medicine garden, whatever, but it's all covered in kitchen because you have your spices and your medicines and your fun things to eat in your kitchen. So this is where your more traditional garden type things have been planted. And some untraditional garden things have been planted.
What are the untraditional ones?
Don't you have some tea things that are not traditionally, like, it's more than peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers?
Oh, a few little things. Okay, so in these rows we have sweet peas, I'm sorry, sugar snap peas, and they're followed by a butter pea that is warm season. So hopefully as these start dying off, then the butter peas will pop up and take their place. I don't want them to compete with each other. You can see we need to do some picking. They're just loaded with sugar snap peas. I have some carrots that seem to have washed into this row from when I had first planted them, so that'll be fun to see what we are able to get out of there.
Do you see Danny from Deep South Homestead, who has actually written the book on carrots? We are actually able to grow carrots here. One of the things they recommend is finding what zone you're in and getting carrots from that zone and from those types of growers. Find ones that are natural to that area, not just ones that will grow in your zone, but ones that are from your zone.
These guys are doing really great. I've already gone through and thinned once. I'll probably have to do it again. If you want to come around here, you can actually see the carrot tops. You can see our beautiful carrots. And then right next to it, I've got a summer crisp lettuce,
which we've been enjoying in salads.
This actually works great. I mean, it looks like you could just clip that beautiful head of lettuce, but you also can just peel off the sides and it regrows. Those are my favorite kind of lettuces because I want it to just keep on coming back. I think you get more bang for your effort.
Kind of like a grocery row.
Like a who does those?
Who does? I don't know. We should totally trademark that.
These are my grocery.
We would probably get like 200,000 subscribers if we had.
Maybe 200. Like today, I think we could get it.
I think today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over here we've got, I believe the variety is a Millennium, I think it's Millennium Broccoli.
Oh, so it's entitled.
Yes, Millennial Broccoli. This variety does better in springtime. I have another variety called Waltham, I think, that does better in the fall. So I'll plant those later in the season. But these look pretty happy. Some of the transplants I put in here didn't do anything. You can see I've got a few holes, but that's okay. So, got a few more broccolis on this row. This is some bush beans. I'm planning on growing a lot of green beans because they actually freeze really easily. Blanch them, freeze them. They've got good storage ability. It tastes really good. And they're actually good for your soil too. They're legume. So, over here we have zucchini. And my thought is, and that's next to some lettuce, I think this is Simpson seed lettuce. Once this is getting kind of tired because of the heat, it'll be all right for the zucchini to kind of fill that space. So as I'm planting things, I try to think how it'll look in a couple months. And this row, I've never grown beets, so I didn't know quite how they do. But it looks like we've got some coming up. There's some down here that still haven't made their appearance yet, but it's coming along.
And then, of course, one of the fan favorites, tomatoes.
Lots of tomatoes. So I actually planted 42 tomatoes. That seems like a crazy number, but I use tomato sauce or a tomato paste for a lot of different things, making soups and salsa, and so my plan is to actually do a lot of canning with these tomatoes. So I've got some Roma in here, I've got some paste tomatoes, I have some Rutgers, which could work for either one, but it also makes a good slicing. And I think I've got some black strawberry tomatoes as well. That'll be, you know, the kids like the little snack size ones. So, and then brand new along this edge we have our basil and oregano, marjoram, parsley. So it's our Italian seasoning row here.
Which has not come up yet.
They're very small. They're starting to pop. But those were just planted on Monday last week when we were doing our gardening chores. This thicket here is another part of our our natural hedge. But when we came here last summer to check this place out, this whole area was filled with Queen Anne's lace. And you can see we have a really healthy population, maybe a little bit too healthy. It wants to be everywhere. We're attempting to contain it, but it's such a beautiful flower. I've always loved wildflowers. Even in living in the city, I'm planting wildflowers in my gardens because I just love them. So that area is also allowed to be free. We're just going to attempt to contain it.
Help with the pollinators, help with the positive insects for bug control.
Yes.
It's a barrier against, and you can see the other barrier kind of behind her is on the other side of the fence, kind of stops almost right here. So then on the inside of the fence we have the other barrier. So it's almost an unbroken line of defense. It's our Atlantic wall, if you will.
This is a wild rose that was just here. So we just left it. They're beautiful.
What is flowering already?
Those are Boston pickling cucumbers.
Boston pickling cucumbers. You like apples? Sorry, it's cucumbers. It's not apples.
We have sunflowers growing up everywhere. There's a bunch of sunflowers here, all different kinds. I kind of tuck them in everywhere.
Why do you hate flowers?
I love
just don't
flowers
understand.
and bumblebees.
And birds. And...
I'm such a weirdo. We have another patch of Boston pickling cucumbers. I may end up planting more cucumbers somewhere else. I'm not sure yet. But we're going to try to make some pickles.
Our kids, everybody in the house likes pickles. So while it's not a terribly nutrient-dense food, it's something that we eat a lot of. And it's a good snack food for people.
Even if we don't pickle all of them, we like cucumbers.
It's true.
So, another little sunflower. And here we have a few different stages of peppers mixed with some weeds that I don't mean to be here. I'm still working on getting that cleaned out again. There's some sweet peppers and cayenne peppers, a couple more cucumbers that were stuck at the back. But I just last week planted some more pepper seeds because not everything transplanted well. We had some cold and a lot of rain, and it just made it difficult for it. Last side over here we have more honey nut squash. Those are looking really good. And I was a little bit worried about those because with that cold, it really burnt the leaves up.
They did actually. She had transplanted them out here, and the what are the king leaves?
Yeah.
Or the true leaves. I'm sorry.
Leaves.
The true leaves were all burnt, and we thought maybe that was it, but nope. They have fully recovered and are going bonkers. There's actually, this area has much better soil than the area out there. This was the place that the previous owner gardened. So there was wood chips and compost and all kinds of really good stuff in here. So we were fortunate to just build on what they've done here as we try and correct soil out in the fields.
Yeah, we do have a lot of weeds to combat, so you can see this beautiful mulch we're working on. We're working on making some barriers and building soil at the same time. Along that back corner there, we have some blueberries. This one has got flowers growing in the middle, daisies growing in the middle of it because of reasons. And same thing over here. These are all blueberries. I had another one and I knocked it down on accident.
It's feeding the soil now.
Yeah. All right. So this little patch right here, you can see we've got more delicious sweet potatoes. Should I say?
Yes.
Bill gave me a really good way to grow the slips. This is the most successful I've ever been with growing slips, so thank you, Bill. And I think some of the sweet potatoes came from him too. So
I think so.
They look great.
So we have named the parts of the garden. This area is Bill Boulevard. This area is Donna Drive. This is Nancy's Nook. And that is Colleen's Corner. When we first started the channel, we invited people to send us seeds because we had just gotten to this property. We'd never grown anything and we weren't sure what would grow. So,
well, we have grown things, never grown anything.
We've never grown anything on this property, which is approximately 55 miles away from where we used to grow things, which was much closer to the ocean than we are now. So, different microclimate. And we told people we would name sections of the gardens after them. Now I fully intended to, and I will still attempt to make signs for these places, but we've been, I think, slightly overwhelmed with how much work this was going to be for each process, so certain things that we intended to do have fallen by the wayside. Sorry. But, Bill Boulevard, Donna Drive, Nancy's Nook, Colleen's Corner.
So many things here. If you're bored yet. We've got some lemon bergamot. This is the section we're going to use for tea. I have spearmint just growing because it was planted here, and so I periodically thin it out, but it makes great tea, so we're just going to lean into it. We got lemon bergamot's doing really good right here. There's a few little patches, so I'll thin those and then kind of center them. Those are the seeds that really did well. And then this section is supposed to be holy basil, and I have yet to actually see the holy basil. That's why I haven't weeded very well in here, because I'm waiting to see.
Maybe you have to have faith for your holy basil.
So we'll see what happens there. I've got 3, what I'm gonna do, spring garlic. I know it's supposed to be a fall, but I just got those in the ground just to see what they would do. And I have some rosemary. in here. And rosemary can get really big. So I have more rosemary in the section than I will leave. But as it gets bigger, I'll find it new homes. It doesn't mind being transplanted. At least in my experience, it didn't mind. And here we've got some chamomile that looks like it's doing pretty well. Oh, so many weeds to fight. Chamomile, there's a German and a Roman. And then I've got sage for tea and for cooking.
And for hippy dippy woo woo.
And for hippy dippy woo woo medicines and such. And then we've got your calendula, your borage. We've got some sunflower, and across the back on Monday last week I planted some fennel. So we'll see. Those haven't made an appearance yet. We'll see if those show up. We did not plant the black raspberries. It was just here and going crazy. So in like March, February, March, we came in here and cut it all back.
There's a video on it.
There is a video where we were killing it back here. But it's all grown back beautifully, much more tame.
Actually able to be harvested.
Yes, and we've got the grapes here. Those look like they're coming back. It doesn't look like the healthiest vine, but that was here. We're just working on it, seeing what'll grow. More raspberries. There's another wild rose that was just here. There's a lot of Rose of Sharon. So much Rose of Sharon. We cut a lot of it out because it was just everywhere. And then you can see some little berries. And this is just loaded.
Yeah, so many. Now that they don't have to really compete with each other like they were.
Right. Well, this side of the grape actually looks a lot better.
It does. Greenhouse worked very well this year. Did not get too hot. The door fell apart, but that's okay.
The door did fall apart. I think the barrels of water, that was a really good suggestion that we did use, and it kept it from getting, you know, if it was in the 40s, it could moderate that temperature. If it got down and freezing, it really still struggled. So it's really best for seed starting, not for keeping my tropicals or anything in there.
It's not a permanent, like a high hoop house type thing. This is just for seed starting a few weeks early.
A few weeks early.
Which was good because this season was ridiculous.
It was a really strange start to spring. And I still have over here more things that need to get planted. I've got Camellia sinensis over there. I've got a bunch of different elderberry plants that I need to get in the ground.
Thank you, Bill and Tammy.
Thank you, Bill, yep. And some mulberry also. All those things need to find homes. There's just been so many things.
So many things. Well, speaking of things, in case you noticed, we're not done mulching. So we have an emulsion that we're going to spread here in a little bit once we get the mulching done.
Fish emulsion smells.
We have chicks that are hatching today. They started last night, so we're working on their brooder box. There's just 1,000 things going on, so we're gonna have to let you go. But we wanted you to see what this looks like, and in about a month we'll do another one when more things are able to be harvested and we can start processing. So thanks for joining us today on our extended garden tour that included killing bugs that were gross and are trying to steal our food. But don't forget to grow as you grow. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. And if you found us by accident, please subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.